Alright, so we are officially just about 30 days out from Neverness to Everness releasing, and today I wanted to discuss some pros, some cons, what I'm looking forward to, what I'm a little bit worried about with the game coming out, and I'd love to hear what you guys think after hearing what I got to say. So we're going to be talking green flags, red flags, yellow flags, and everything in between. I think the first thing that I'd like to start off with is a big green flag for me, and I think that that's going to be the city itself. I feel like Hethereau feels huge. I think the biggest reason that Neverness to Everness is getting compared to being anime GTA is because the city itself feels so alive. And in other gacha games, the exploration and everything just feels like a backdrop for combat, just exploring to get from one battle to another one. Whereas in this one, it feels like the city has so much to do in it. Not only is there so much verticality, like climbing up on top of buildings and everything, there's all the little side hustles in the game, the city management, buying apartments, running a cafe, playing mahjong with friends, or going fishing. There's a lot that you could be doing there. And then of course you've got the GTA comparison with the wanted system, and if you're causing trouble, the cops will catch you. If you get caught, you're going to jail, and then there's more activities that you could do in there. But I think that a more apt comparison would probably be more along the lines of like anime Yakuza, because it's less of a sandbox, but there's also all the little mini games and everything to do. So there's like a ton to do in the town outside of the combat, outside of the typical gacha fare that you've come to expect. And then another green flag, we've got the no 50-50 gacha, which is exciting. It's a gacha game at the end of the day, but having no 50-50 is a pretty bold move. And I feel like it leads us closer and closer to like characterless gacha, which would be awesome. One day we'll reach a period where we're not monetizing characters and we're only monetizing outfits and stuff. That'd be a huge like W for free-to-play players, but support the games you play. But the gacha itself feels a little different with the whole game board that you have. The pity system, the soft pity, feels like once you reach soft pity, odds are you're going to hit that character. And then on top of having the character in the gacha, of course, being able to unlock character skins as well as vehicle skins and your little glider skins and everything, like that's all a really cool addition to the gacha system. I think that that is a welcome update, to me at least. In regards to the combat, I feel like it's being pretty heavily compared to Wuthering Waves because of the parrying and the fluidity and speed of the combat, because we've got dodges, we've got parries, but then we've also got what we've come to expect with the typical combinations with elements and everything. And then with the characters that we're actually going to be playing, I feel like we've got a pretty good roster of starting characters. It doesn't feel like a ton, and it feels like we've got the first few patches lined up. I can't wait to see once we get closer to release, whether we're waiting for the initial release in China, which comes about a week early, or news before that, what we'll be able to expect from the banners coming on release. I'm really looking forward to seeing who is coming and whether or not we're going to get Nonoli on the first banner like we did in the third closed beta test. I'm personally most looking forward to Lacrimosa. We're going to try and C6 her or something crazy. Yeah, she's my favorite character at the moment, so I'm looking forward to her dropping. Hopefully it's not too far down the line because I'm excited to build her and main her. Now, before we get into what I perceive to be some red flags, I'd love to shout out, I'm going to be streaming day one release, and I'm going to be streaming a lot. And if I reach 1,000 subs within that first little release streaming period, I intend on buzzing my luscious locks. So if you want to see me shave my head live on stream, help me get to 1,000 subs. Shameless plug over, and let's move on to the red flags. Starting with a little bit of fear that I have going on, and that's going to be optimization. Unreal Engine 5 looks great, and I'm a little bit worried, especially for you phone players out there. I personally love to have my gacha games available on my phone for when I'm not at home, just to like spend 10 minutes doing my dailies in bed or on the toilet or whatever, you know, the typical stuff. And I'm a little bit concerned about performance. I was playing on a 3080 initially. I've got a 5080 now, but when I was playing on the 3080, it was struggling at parts, but on the 5080, things were a lot smoother. I'm not so worried about my computer as I am with the phone, but we'll see how they manage to handle optimization, because Unreal Engine 5 is hungry for specs, that's for sure. And then something else, kind of red flag, that I'd like to see ironed out is the UI, the clutter, as well as all of the icons on the screen. That's typical with every gacha game, but I'd love to see them clean that up a bit. Maybe offer some customization in terms of UI placement and whether or not we could tone things down. I would love to have the game be as cinematic as possible. That'd be pretty dope. But Hotta has talked about a like day one UI optimization, so I'm holding out hope for that. Speaking of Hotta Studios, though, that could be perceived as a red or a yellow flag depending on your opinions on Tower of Fantasy. My biggest concern with Hotta is going to be huge power creep aggression like they had in Tower of Fantasy and just making older characters obsolete quickly. And while the Neverness to Everness gacha is looking more fair with no 50-50, I'm a little bit worried that having that balanced out is going to be new characters being released, them being way stronger than previous ones, and in order to stay relevant in the end game, you're going to have to pull for those new characters. But hopefully they'll learn from releases like Wuthering Waves release, where the company was extremely generous and yeah, they built up a lot of goodwill with the fan base, and that's what I'm hoping to see from Hotta here. Another slightly yellow reddish flag is the driving physics. I spent a little bit of time cruising around, and honestly, it was pretty decent. However, I think that they can improve it and the cars can feel more weighted. You kind of felt weightless when you were driving around if you were playing in the CBT, and I would love to see that improved upon. And despite what felt like a pretty good performance overall when I played through a decent amount of the CBT, the main story had some like English voice acting hiccups in my opinion, whether that was just the dub being entirely cut out compared to like the Japanese or Chinese dubs, or just like mad lip syncing issues. I would love to see that improved on for the sake of immersion and like overall enjoyment of the game. I just think that those little pieces of the puzzle being improved on go a long way in terms of like quality and the overall package. And then we touched on how busy the city felt and how much there was to do, which is exciting. But with the anime GTA police system, it's like a really fun concept, but the execution in the beta was a little bit hit or miss based on what I've seen. The cops at higher like wanted levels would sometimes just be like impossible to escape from, or they'd be like buggy and like completely invisible. So if they're going to have this system, I'd love to see them iron it out and improve on it and make it feel fair and fun for everyone. I was rhyming there. And then on top of that, just like accidentally triggering the wanted system, like if you accidentally attack a civilian, then you're suddenly in a 5-minute car chase. I don't want to see too much of that going on because that's kind of a pain in the butt. However, Hotta has released like a roadmap discussing all the improvements that they're promising back in late February, where they discussed fixing the driving sensitivity, optimizing shaders and graphics for performance, as well as improving the English text and like dubbing and everything. So I'm looking at that as a little bit of a silver lining with some of the issues that I have and hoping that they solidly improve on things because I'm really looking forward to this game. But mark your calendars, April 29th is coming up soon for us playing globally, not in China, and Neverness to Everness is shaping up to be a very ambitious gacha game. With the whole pre-registrations and everything being hit, like I know that that's all just like a hype cycling thing. I don't think that it really matters. I think we'll get all the rewards, like not really stressed about that. They did just release the web event. Link down in the description below if you want to go pre-register with my link. You could get all the little rewards there. They've got a free A-class art that you could get, as well as some upgrade materials, giving away a PS5, all that fun stuff. Let me know down in the comments below what your biggest pros and cons are for the game, as we are all looking forward to it. Let's have a conversation down there. Subscribe for future gacha, but primarily Neverness to Everness videos. I'm super excited to get into this game, and I hope to see you there. Peace.